So as we welcome one and all to the Queen's Park Oval, we had a little bit of a rain delay. The covers have now been removed, and as you can see, we're getting ready for the start of play in this encounter, Trinidad and Tobago against India. This, of course, is the second T20 international between Trinidad and Tobago and India, and of course, this is deaf cricket, and again, our congratulations to both teams, the players on both teams, both associations for putting all of this together. And here we are with this encounter now. This is the second encounter. They won yesterday, India, and here they are again today, hoping to build on that, maybe wrap up the three-match series as early as possible. And of course, this is not going to be an easy ask. Sai Akash to take first strike. He's no doubt want to do that. Nicholas Mohammed, who has been one of the finds for Trinidad and Tobago, is going to open the bowling again. And immediately he drops on a pretty good line, good length. And Trinidad and Tobago will be hoping that he could continue in that vein to put pressure on the tourists. And immediately they're off and running. The fielder just brought over to that side and immediately springs into action. Akash Singh is now on strike. So just a one run so far. Trinidad and Tobago bowling first and a good shot to get off the mark. And opportunity for an overthrow. Not only one, they will get another one. They probably could run four if they run hard. And they decided no against it, but they'll get three. But they could so easily have had a fourth one. And so certainly an opportunity there that they didn't really anticipate, but they'll take it all the same. 2 extra runs when one looked like all that they would have gotten. 4 without loss now. Again, almost the identical area. This time they decide not to release the ball, pushing the score now to 5 without loss. So remember, this is the second game of the 3-match T20 series. Happy to say that despite the delay, they're still going to try to get all 20 overs in here. So one just cutting, he might have gotten a touch onto that one, and it went through the hands of the keeper. You could see Mohammed throw his hands in the air there. A little wrist spinner there, probably just a little bit of movement off the wicket. And induced a cut shot. Akash Singh living dangerously there. Again, push and run, and they'll get another comfortable single to end the over. So that is the end of the first over here. And 6 without loss is the score after India won the toss and opted to bat first. So this is going to be so important. We look for the improvements. The Trinidad and Tobago team, they'll be hoping that they can really show some improvement. Of course, Devon Adams is the captain, Shimul Kadugan, the vice captain, the wicketkeeper, Jamel Borneo, Amir Budu, and Christopher Guman Singh. They're fast becoming household names here in TNT. And of course, in addition to that, we have Joel Lord, Nicholas Mohammed, who we just saw bowling that opening over. And picking up the attack now is Budu, Amir Budu. And a lot of these players in this series so far have distinguished themselves. Like I said, we had some good catches taken yesterday by the Trinidad and Tobago team, but then they dropped a couple sitters as well. That's a brilliant shot. That is a gorgeous shot. That deserves 4 runs. As straight as an arrow, and it just spread along the turf, and 4 good-looking runs. What a shot that is from Akash Singh. Quickly, the score is into double figures now. It's on to 10. Just to finish off the Trinidad and Tobago team, Orion Murray, Joel Piper is the 12th man today, Nyrun Noel, Alan Thomas, and Valdano Tobias. Here's another one going through the point region. That too will get to the boundary. That's 4 more. Again, there is very little margin for error against these two openers. They are so in tune. They're really comfortable with their own skill levels, and they love to cut the ball as well as drive the ball. And so you cannot take it for granted that they will. Unfortunately, we do have a little drizzle coming our way here now. Wrong staff heading into action, and immediately a little push and run. And this is good cricket because it's like they're scoring off almost every delivery. And so they're putting pressure on the Trinidad and Tobago team from the get-go. And you look at it again, and effortless in the running between the wickets. They're not afraid. And that was Valdano Tobias coming in to do the fielding there. And it's a little cat and mouse with the ground staff because the rain has kind of subsided. Little drizzle. Again, a push and a run. Can they tidy it up? And they're going to go for the second run. If he hits, he misses. Well. That would have been curtains there. It was a risky single, and I think Sai Akash knew that he was in trouble. And had he hit, it would have been curtains for the opener. But Kadogan somehow missed. He had a good sight of all 3 stumps. I don't know, it's probably Mango not in season yet, but he certainly missed. This one is in the air. This could be a chance. No, it's going to bounce. They're going to go back for a second. So good cricket, getting it over the inner ring and able to pick up 2 comfortably. Tobias again doing the needful out in the deep. So the 2 men out are long on and deep mid wicket. And flicked away, and that's great. Stop there. Excellent. Now remember, his left hand is damaged, so he's primarily right-handed. And for him to get into line with that one and stop it cleanly was brilliant indeed. And you have to tip your hats to him. Just look at it here. That could easily have gone past him, but he was able to put the hand on and stop it nicely. In fact, it bounced up to a good, comfortable height to him, and he gleefully accepted it. 19 without loss at the end of over number 2. Nicholas Mohammed it is, who is getting ready to start his second over. Nyron Noel. And a little bit of flight, and that is the result. That's a great shot. And the first maximum of the day, right over extra cover and over the ropes for a six. That's a very, very good shot. Just advancing down the wicket, Aka Singh, and depositing it where before we had the Dos Santos stand. And they're probably saying, thank goodness doesn't have a stand there. Some of the spectators might have been scampering. The crowd, not as big as some of the other days, but I'm sure they will be thoroughly enjoying it. Here's another opportunity for a quick single. And they might get an extra one. Again, the opportunity here, the bowler really needs to stop the ball. Once it's coming to him, he has to stop it. He cannot, there's nobody backing up. The man backing up was way out on the boundary. And so that was a giveaway there. So 2 runs in the end. 27 now without loss. The scoreboard ticking over quite nicely. We're in the third over. Brilliant shot. That's 4 more. Too much width on offer there. And he just cracked it square. And what a lovely shot there. And Akash Singh is just feasting right now. Brilliant shot. And just look at the quality of the stroke playing. Now, other than the shots that go aerial, they're making shots. These are what we call sort of orthodox cricket shots. And any batsman in any format would love to be able to execute shots like these. And these two, they are loaded with talent. So a little bit of concern, of course, for the bowlers because we have had some rain. So the grass might be just a little bit damp. It'll be holding some of the water, even if it's just surface water. But that will obviously affect their grip on the ball. And he's bowled him. He went right across that one, missed it, and was bowled neck and crop. So Singh really trying to get on with things here, hit right across that one and was bowled all over the shop. And really a gift there for Mohammed, but he will take it. And that's the big wicket going there because he was on fire. Akash Singh, I think he goes for 25. So what a fine breakthrough this is for the Trinidad and Tobago team. He went right across it there. Now, had he done his, I was just praising him for playing good cricketing shots, and then he went and swiped across the line. he unleashed what we call a real hee-ho at that one and missed it and was bowled. But spare thought for Mohammed, he must be over the moon with this wicket. He got some punishment, 1 for 18, and he's only in his second over. But he will take that wicket with a smile. Kind of wicket you remember for the rest of your life. Remember the day when? And he could point to that and remember that one because Singh was threatening another big score here. So Krishna Gowad, or Gowda, I should say, is the new batsman. He again showed tremendous promise. So you get rid of one dangerous batsman and another one arrives at the crease. Yep. He's quicker delivery. Good first up. Good delivery first up to a new batsman. See if you could get him to chase one just outside the off stump that he doesn't have to play. But he was smart. He avoided that trap. Again, field is fairly deep and a single all the way. So immediately he too is off the mark. They lost their first wicket with 31 runs on the board. So 32 for 1 now at the end of over number 3. Remember, this is a 20 over, weather permitting. And I think when you bat first under the threat of rain that we've had here in recent days, you probably want to always keep your run rate high because you don't know when to make the adjustments, what the target might be for the team batting second. So you want to set it high so the DRS total might actually work in your favor. And I would imagine these cricketers, the Indian batsmen, are in tune to that. And that's another brilliant shot through extra cover. There's a long chase, and he does well. He got his boot down and really did very, very well indeed. Sliding across, not in the approved fashion, let me just add that. But he's going to take that. Valdano Tobias showing his footballing skills, and then he unleashed his cricketing skills. But what a great shot that is. Just leaning on it. There you go. Get everything behind it. And stops it. Got the slide in as well. There's a mark on the field to verify that. Now there's a long on, but he's very straight. I would imagine they'd need him a little bit square, or maybe have him around a little bit more. And now you could see him asking him, well, the wicketkeeper is asking him to go to his left. The man at mid-off is asking him to go to his right. So he's probably as confused as anybody as to where exactly am I supposed to go. Because right now he's what we used to call well, he's not really a long stump because he's at long off. He's right in front of us here. And he's almost behind the bowler's arm directly. That's a great ball coming in, and they will get a single. There might have been some bat, then the pad. So he will get the single there. Gouda. Look at it again. The thick inside edge onto the pad. Not a bad over so far from Amer Boudou. Going away, and again, that is always going to be the challenge for him. But look at the enthusiasm with which he's able to sprint after the ball, picks it up. And Nairo Noel, certainly what he lacks because his physical impediments doesn't allow him to do certain things, but what he can do, he does with a lot of effort and energy. And of course, he's out there for his bowling primarily, but in the field, he's giving 110%. We've seen that already. And that he will have to do over. And maybe he liked the fielding of Noel so much, he wanted to see if he could get him involved in the game a little bit more. But Boudou would be better advised to stay away from the pads. Again, this is kind of like a first for Trinidad and Tobago, so this is a really big occasion for these players and their families. Of course, the Deaf Association here in Trinidad has a one hit in the air. That's a good shot. It's going, and it's gone. So that's another maximum there. Just picking it up and helping it on its way. We've said Krishna Gowda is a dangerous customer, and you're seeing why. That's a beautiful shot. Cut out easily, just picked it up and deposited it over long on. You could see some gray clouds in the background, but you could still see the ball traveling through those gray clouds and over long on for a six. That pushes the score quickly on to, should be 42 now. Yes, it should be 42 for one now. And again, that's a great shot. That's even better. What a shot that is. Again, just going down on one knee and cracking it just behind point. Not a man move. In fact, the only movement was to retrieve the ball. And that is understandable. So good was that shot. And as soon as he played that shot, the rain comes down to spoil the fun here at the Oval. The ground staff a little bit slow in getting into position. Maybe they're reading the conditions, because a short while ago they were quickly into position and then the rain stopped. So maybe they're waiting to see if this is another one of those quick, sharp showers or little sprinkles. But they're being asked to bring the covers on. So 4 overs completed now, and it's 47 for one at the end of the 4 overs. And so you can see the ground staff just getting the covers out. And again, the rain hasn't increased much, but it's still falling. So they need to do the needful, cover the entire square, because if the other wickets get wet, then that could create immediate problems for the fielders, even the batsmen when they're running between the wickets. So it's just like that. And you look at it again. Look at that shot. That's a brilliant shot. Down on one knee and just slapping it just behind point, opening the face of the bat as well, and getting it. So 47 for one it is, with a rain delay here at the Oval, but I don't think it's going to be that long. In fact, they may be asking the ground staff to don't go very far, stick around, because they may be asked to take them off as quickly as possible. And the beauty here at the Queen's Park Oval, as is the case to some degree up at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, is that as soon as the rain actually stops, because the drainage and the ground conditions are as good as they are, you could almost get play, almost immediately after. So there's no lengthy delay or time wasting as a result of that. So again, remember, the early part of this tour was scheduled for the National Cricket Centre, the 2 1-dayers. Because of the inclement weather we've had in the last week or so, that forced a change of venue. The Oval picked up the second 1-day international, which was last Sunday, which we did here. And there was a little bit of rain as well in there, but they were able to get a result fairly quickly. Yesterday we had the first T20, and again we had a little bit of a delayed start because the rain was threatening early on. And here we are today again, and we already have one little rain interruption just before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So 47 for 1 it is right now. And so we wait to see. I don't think it's going to be a long delay. It primarily because the rain is really going to trickle. But I'm not sure what is coming behind. I don't know if the umpires are mindful of that, and hence the reason why they are not bringing or taking the covers off immediately, because it looks like the rain has actually stopped. But we're in a little bit of a holding pattern at the moment, waiting to see what is happening. So until we get uh, word that we'll get play to resume, it shouldn't be too long, but don't go too far. There's a little breeze kicking up. You can see the flags fluttering in the distance. And that should help blow whatever rain clouds are up above us, just ahead, just over our heads. And as soon as that subsides, I'm sure the covers will come off. So until such time, stay close and we'll be back. Remember, this is game number 2 in the 3-match T20 series, the Trinidad and Tobago Deaf national team against the Deaf India team. And as it is right now, 47 for 1, India having won the toss and opting to bat. Welcome back. Good news. The rain has subsided. The covers have been removed. And the two batsmen are making their way back out in the middle. The players, the fielding team, Trinidad and Tobago, remember India won the toss and opted to bat first. So they are off to a pretty decent start. 47 for 1 after 4 overs. And it's that man, Krishna Gowda, who has come out and immediately has decided that he wants to get on with things. At the other end, Akash Singh is the man who got out for 25, bowled all over the place by Mohammed. And Sai Akash has been the more subdued of the batsmen. That's another good shot. Into the gap it goes, and that's 4 more without any fuss at all. That brings up the 50, and Akash just coming onto that front foot and lifting the ball, just stepping into it and stroking it nicely down to long off. There's no long off. The mid off is wide, so there's a big gap there between the bowler and the mid off fielder. And now we have again. This is where the kind of the confusion is. The mid off has gone to his right, but they've brought the long on over the long off as well. All the same, another easy single. So 52 now with for one, and that's another good shot. So make that 53 now for one. Akash is on to 12. He's back on strike. It's a good shot, but can't get anything for it. So Trinidad and Tobago really, there are a number of areas that I'm sure they will recognize that they have to improve in the field placing. The way they set their fields, obviously, is one area that they're probably going to improve over time. And that's cut away nicely down to the boundary. That goes, and it will roll into the ropes for another maximum, or for another 4 runs, I should say. But again, too much width on offer, and able to take full advantage of it. So he continues to just roll along. Akash, all of a sudden, he's the one starting to motor along quickly. He's on to 16 now. Gowda, who had raced to 15, is at the non-striker's end. And again, you try to use his feet here and coming down the wicket, but probably came down the wrong line, got in his own way there, and missed out on a chance at maybe a big hit. 57 for 1 at the end of 5. So 10 runs coming off of that over. And the sun is out with us now, and really it's out brilliant sunshine. And a welcome addition to proceedings here And I'm sure the players will be relishing their pursuit. Guman Singh, Christopher Guman Singh, who's had a good series so far. Again, they're probably going to be asking him to try and keep the run flow down as much as possible, and more importantly, get some wickets. And the first ball sits up outside the off stump and is cracked away. So into the 60s now goes India. And when you consider in yesterday's game, they posted 250. They'll be hoping for a similar kind of output today, if not better. And that's not good news for the Trinidad and Tobago team. They will take the under on that. But they're going to have to take wickets. That's one way to do that. And that's not going to help. And wicketkeeper Cadogan indicating to Mr. Guman Singh that don't bowl on the pads. Not, no mas, no mas. I'm almost pleading with him to bowl out off stump outside the off stump. And short enough, probably didn't get it as well as he would have liked. But even then, he was able to get a single out of it. So the scoreboard keeps ticking over. Like we said, the sun is back with us here now. This is so good to see. We also welcome him to the Oval. Full toss, Swift, put away brilliantly. And again, not able to control the ball as well as he would like here. Served up a waist high full toss that is just deposited uh, over for the square there for 6 runs. So 69 for one now, and here's the reason why it jumped up there. And as we follow the ball flying through the air there, you can look in the background and see some heavy clouds, but those clouds won't affect us because they're past the oval already. It's the ones that to the east of us are the ones that we focus on. And again, another wide. So we've had a proliferation of wides. And but the Trinidad and Tobago team cannot afford to lament every wide, every extra, every missed field, and they cannot be so emotional that it kind of affects them and throw them off their game. You know, they have to be a little more clinical, a little more purposeful in the way they go about their business. And that's brilliant. That's a good shot. Again, the bad angle taken by the fielder. Now he has the hard work to do to try to overhaul it. In the meantime, Akash is back for a second run. And another single taken. No real pace being applied to the ball here by Guman Singh. So the batsmen are the ones trying to apply power. And as a result, because they're trying to hit the ball on the ground, a lot of times they're not timing it as well as they would like. And the minute it's pitched up, it's hiked straight as a die here. And that's another maximum there. Straight down the ground it goes. And just one nice, comfortable swing of the bat. And getting the maximum results there. 79 for one now at the end of over number 6. So the power play overs in the books, 79 of them. Gowda is on to 26 now. Akash is 25. So they're basically almost running down each other, so to speak. But both of them have shaped very well indeed. And they're taking advantage of some careless bowling on the part of Trinidad and Tobago at times, just allowing them too many luxuries. They're able to cut the ball very well and able to drive the ball with impunity. And that is a recipe for another 250 scoreline. So Trinidad and Tobago has to be very careful here. They got nowhere near that 251 that they required for victory last evening. And if they allowed the Indian batsmen to get away again here today, it could be more of the same. As I say, good evening to Billy. Billy Furlong is here with us. He was doing some technical work a short while ago. Chief cook and bottle washer.
It's good though to be out of the producer's chair, back in the commentary. But Trinidad and Tobago, backs against the walls again. That over from Guman Singh, he looked really tired.
He looks stiff.
Sore, stiff is the word, Ruskin.
Yeah, he looks stiff.
Sadly, we both familiar with that, unfortunately.
He's probably getting pain in muscles he didn't even know he had. And that's what happens at this level when you're not fully prepared for it. I'm not sure what their after game routines are, but you have to take care of your body when you're being asked to do stuff like this. And here's another one, not a bad delivery, but again, the wicketkeeper Kadoga not able to haul it in, and they're going to amble 2 runs, 2 byes. And there goes the signal. So that pushes the score along nicely now into the 80s. And a 50-run partnership, 21 balls. So they're making good progress. And the new bowler coming on is Jamil Bonio.
As our producer indicated as well, Kishaf, he's not quite sure, neither are we, how often these guys would have played back-to-back games.
And now they're going to be playing back-to-back games.
Backs are against the wall.
Yep. Yeah. And the bowler applauds himself. Yeah. That's a good delivery.
Yeah.
I could live with that. And
it's a dot ball.
Yep. Now there is confusion as to where the field, where they want the fielders, and that just adds to the delays. Turned away nicely for a quick single. They'll get it too. And the return comes flying in to the keeper.
Yeah, that man Guman Singh just warming to the task. I expect that we would see a faster second over with a bit more hustle and bustle in the run-up to the crease from Guman Singh in the next over.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done. He's, like I said, he's probably so stiff right now. In fact, most of them are. And it's just, how they get through the process. And that's brilliant. Again, we've really seen some amazing shots from the Indian batsmen. They have produced some exquisite shots, especially the straight drives. We've seen a plethora of those now, and each one seemed better than the one before.
There's all quality strokes here, and it seems as though whoever they put at the top of the order, because there have been some changes at the top of the order. The captain, the century maker yesterday, dropping down the order. Today, he's not yet out to bat, just 1 wicket down. It seems as though their top 4 or 5 batters are quite capable and can bat anywhere in the order. Playing a miss, another dot ball from Borneo. Not much celebration after this one, however, on the heels of that boundary.
He didn't applaud that one.
He's applauding this one, Ruskin. Celebrating the dot ball.
Yes, but it's a good reason to celebrate. Is it in the IPL when you get a dot ball, you get trees planted? Well, so he knows 16 trees every time you produce a dot ball. And so he has good reason to applaud on that occasion. That's the end of the over. 86 for 1 now after 7.
Just 5 runs in the over, and they'll celebrate any achievement. It was quite a good over in the end. A couple of deliveries going past the bottom edge outside of the off stump, trying to cut away, but the one delivery that was pitched up was played magnificently straight back down the ground for 4. So honours even in that over from Borneo. 86 for 1, 7 gone. Projected score 2-3-4. It's a bit of a Nelson score.
They're bringing back Budu. We just had the 1 over from Guman Singh, and they've gone back with Amer Budu. The 2 overs, of course, 28 already.
Yeah, so no Guman Singh, just a 1 over from him. So I was told yesterday from your good friend, Mr. Glenn Arson, indicated to us that Amir Budu is 15 years of age.
Well, talented, young, bright future. It's another good shot. And good cricket, good attacking the ball and releasing it quickly as well.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Murray in the field. He's very positive, attacks everything. Catch go down, but it was a straight one to him with a lot of power when he was walking in. Couldn't quite cushion it yesterday, but on every occasion he was attacking everything and getting the throw in as quickly as possible.
And that's another good shot. In the gap it goes. This one is going to run away as well. 4 runs. There were 2 fielders closing in on it. One coming from the sort of a deep cover. The other one from long off. Neither one could get there.
Well, it's 3 if you count Guman Singh, who tried to collapse on the ball. He held his hand up in an apology as if to say he should have knocked that one down. But we can forgive him. After a tough outing yesterday, he didn't bowl too bad yesterday. Went for close to 40 runs he conceded. There was a lot of good deliveries in there from him. So he's just taking a breath, opting not to bowl consecutive overs. And Budu just punished for a full ball outside of the off stump.
And again, going across the line of that one, they've gone for 1. I don't think they want a second run. They've opted to stay for the 1 that the Captain Adams came off that deep backward square leg boundary. Not very often you see the captain of the team fielding in those positions.
Also saw Budu just berating the short fine leg, telling him he should have gone to at least shadow the ball to put some pressure on the running. But it was good work by Adams. And there he is in conversation. I use the word conversation with the wicketkeeper, who seems to be doing a lot of the field setting Cardigan.
Yep. That's a good delivery. It's played well again, but treated with respect. And just the single coming off of that one, Bonio coming into play.
And it's not a bad over thus far, apart from the boundary. And had Guman Singh just knocked it down, would have been another potentially economical over.
Yeah, and that's what you get. You get, he may not have bowled as well yesterday as he's bowling today, and then, you're gonna get days like that where it kind of goes up and down. That's very well bowled, right in the block hole, but played well in the end. Also from Gouda, just digging it out.
They got a fresh off of a half century yesterday, made 54, batted quite well, along with his captain, Virendra Singh.
Got 100. Brilliant 100 too. First of the series. That's not a bad ball, but that's very well played. This could be cut off here. It is. Bonio.
A good feeling out in the deep. Bonio in the thick of things. The over comes to an end, 95 for 1 after 8. So not a bad over in the end from Budu.
Yeah, he's done well. It's not these two batsmen are so skilled, so highly skilled that any margin at all, any error, whether you stray in the line or the length, you're liable to be punished. So when you can keep them under 8 or 9 in an over, you could be happy with that. You could applaud yourself for that one. Plant some trees.
So it's going to be a bowling change. The new man into the team, Alan Thomas. He was just berated by Budu for not chasing down ball at short fine leg. So now he'll get a taste of it where he's his turn to encourage the fielders to chase the ball down. Or he might just be focusing on prying out the wicket of Sayakash. Sayakash made light work of chasing down 50 on Sunday, finishing with 32 not out. I think he had something like 5 or 6 boundaries. 3 sixes.
Another good shot down to the long on fielder. And this is the thing, we're not seeing any of the Trinidad and Tobago bowlers like imparting spin on the ball, and are able to have the ball deviate off the wicket much. And that one is in the air. The wicketkeeper is trying to get there. So too, and he does. That's a great catch. He had to go a long way, Cadogan, but he kept his eyes on it. And really, Gouda goes for 36. And he must be very, very upset. But what a catch from Cadogan.
That's an excellent catch from the wicketkeeper. And using his hands, there's no calling out there, indicate to the fielders that he was going to take the catch, and anything high up in the air close to the wicketkeeper or in the 30-yard circle on his half of the pitch, you expect the wicketkeeper to go after it, and he waved them away, settled himself under it. He was still on the move when he took the catch, and it was a top edge from Gouda, so no half century for him today. But the new man into the team, Alan Thomas, picks up a wicket, albeit with an unintentional delivery, it has to be said, and off the top edge, and a good catch indeed.
Hello, full tosses get wickets too. And we just saw that there. Classic example of that. And how often have you been out by a full toss?
Never.
You've never been out.
And I'm not counting Yorkers that I missed.
I think I've benefited from a few wickets for full tosses as well, and I'm almost certain in my career I would have hit a full toss or two down long on's throat or something like that. It happens so much. that you probably don't even can't even count the number of times you've seen that happen.
There was one occasion on that very pitch facing up against a youngster, Rivaldo Ramlogan. Tell you about that.
And the skipper Singh is immediately off the mark, coming off fresh from 100, an unbeaten 100. I'm sure he would like to follow that up with another good score.
And Ramlogan, he was bowling on the pitch where West Indies had played against Sri Lanka, I believe it was, where Shannon Gabriel took his 10 wickets. And he was only bowling 2 deliveries, bouncers and yorkers. And he picked up 4 wickets for 15 runs with 4 yorkers.
I'm surprised you didn't see hit a couple batsmen as well. He struck a couple of them.
Well, fortunately, a lot of the batsmen didn't have to get out of the way because they didn't even see it coming. Myself included, he was that quick. The former Trinidad and Tobago under 19 opening bowler, Marching Patriots as well, Mr. Rivaldo Ramlogan.
And again, a nice tumbling effort there. And Guman Singh doing very well to get his body behind the ball. And now he's being congratulated by his teammate.
Similar to the dive he put out in the last over. This time he was aided by the pace of the delivery.
Just straight at him.
The ball obliged him not coming too quickly so as to evade his dive.
We'll have to check that area there. We'll have to tell the ground staff to pay particular attention. And good bit of fielding in his follow through.
There's one more delivery to come in the over, Ruskin. And it will be the most economical over of the innings as well as taking a wicket. Potentially one more delivery.
Yep. Just 5 runs from it already. So actually 4 under wicket.
So we see yet again the keeper moving the captain, bringing him out of mid wicket into a short extra cover. Well, it's not short extra cover on the ring.
And immediately they get a single. The ball is thrown to him. Borneo with the return, but the wicketkeeper, although he removes the bails, the batsman was safely through. 100 on the board, 100 for 2 after 9.
And the Indian team will be quite happy with that total. For the second consecutive time in 2 days, they've brought up the 100 in the 9th over. And this time doing it with 2 wickets down. So they're continuing along with the same pace, executing much the same type of shots with the same type of efficiency. And we haven't spoken about the captaincy as well, but the wicketkeeper is playing a major role in the field setting and at times causing some delays in the over rate as well. But it's taking a little time due to the mere fact that he firstly has to get the attention of the fielders. So all eyes either on the captain or all eyes either on the wicketkeeper. And I think the strategy team of the Vindra Maharaj and they has settled on the fact that the wicketkeeper would be doing the one making the fine-tuning adjustments in the field.
But I think they probably gave him that license, seeing that he is standing behind the stumps. There's another full toss turned away nicely. And they'll count 2 more, despite the best efforts out there of Tobias.
So Amir Budu, the youngster, attends the deaf school in Port of Spain. He is going to finish off his spell. And he might just be one to consider for the secondary schools cricket league.
Just another good delivery. This time he was forcing the batsman to have to dig it out to some degree.
Yeah, good delivery there from the youngsters. I draw his attention to the president of the secondary schools league as I say good afternoon to Mr. Nigel Mirage. This might be one for the future. have a look at the youngster.
And it's a little bit harsh. I don't think it was that wide, but it's called a wide.
I'm not quite sure what the skipper is trying. Yes, he's trying to get the attention of.
We have a little drizzle again.
Yeah, and I think that is why he was trying to get the ball back to Buru as quickly as possible.
It's another good delivery. It's just been a pretty detailed over so far, despite the rain.
Let's hope this is just one that will blow over quickly. We can see some light clouds in the distance. The umpires can just stay out there through this bit of drizzle.
It's another good shot. It's a long chase, and they will comfortably come back for a second run. Good cricket all round. Good shot, and a good run in between the wickets for the 2 runs. And a good bit of fielding out in the deep as well. Had some work to do. Speaking of work, we look at the ground staff. They had the ready. But if the umpire doesn't call them, then they would probably stay at the ready there.
It's been a very good over so far from Buru. He's been full. He's mixed it up with a couple of them on the body as well as outside of the off stump. So he'll want to finish strong here. Just one wide in the over.
And this is what you want to see him develop the ability to move the ball, even if he just goes with the natural left-hander's angle, go across the right-handed batsman. But he's bowling from around the wicket to the right-hander.
And he's indicating now that he wants somebody on the third man boundary. And the mid wicket is going to run across. And they'll have to move around in the ring on the offside just to cover that point area. And exactly where they did not cover is exactly where the ball goes. It's going to go close to the boundary and into the boundary, exactly where Buru was asking for the fielder to go. He came across from mid-wicket onto the offside, but there was no adjustment of the fielders in the ring to move across. And he's spoiled the over somewhat with that bit of, unfortunately, not proper field placing, and it's gone for 4.
Yeah, it was certainly another good shot into the gap. And they were able to pick up another boundary. So they're dealing in boundaries, and they're doing it quite successfully. 110 for 2 now in 10 overs.
Yeah, so the rings carts and the support staff are rushing onto the field. And ironically, the rain is going to subside, but we will take a drinks break. So it's been another positive start from the Indian team. Gowda going for 36. And the pair out in the middle, building close to a 50-run partnership now. And with the score on 106 for 2, we'll take a break as well after 10 overs.
Cancer, whether you have it or your doctors are looking for it, only a PET scan can give the critical details. First world countries now use PET scans instead of CT scans. Get the right scan. Get a PET scan. Call us for a free consultation. Cancer, whether you have it or your doctors are looking for it, only a PET scan can give the critical details. First world countries now use PET scans instead of CT scans. Get the right scan. Get a PET scan. Call us for a free consultation.
Thank you very much. As we welcome you back here, the players have been refreshed, and every time the umpire is waving, I'm not sure if he's waving to the scorers or if he's waving to the dressing room, or if he's waving to one of the
Music.
players.
I think it's music, Ruskin. The man with the DJ man up there, your partner, Mr. Glenn, providing all the musical accompaniments.
Dawson, DJ Dawson. So Bonio. And again, it's you look at his mechanics, and it's really about. It's not an aggressive kind of an approach. And that's another good shot, but might only get him a single on this occasion.
Yeah, I just wondered. He's tossing the ball in his hand with the motion of an off-spin action. But he's pushing the ball through, so he's not quite spinning the ball, and might want to bowl the off-spin delivery perhaps as a variation, as a slower delivery at times. And this one is neither. It's deposited over the head of Budu on the deep mid-wicket boundary for a towering 6. Just looking at the square leg umpire, just indicating that it's below the level of the waist. But it might have started below the level of the waist, but it went over the head of the man Budu on the boundary. And an almighty 6 from Sayakash.
And that's a problem. You could probably guarantee you're going to get 2 of those in every over, if not more. And so that's one of the areas that the Trinidad and Tobago players are going to have to improve as a team. And as I say, individually, the bowlers have to start finding ways to do more with the ball. To challenge batsmen of this quality, you have to create some kind of pressure on them.
He is with an off-spin action.
And they're going for a single. It's not there. And he wanted a single, a sing, but his partner, Akash, wasn't too interested.
So it was another full toss as well.
And this one is sliced away, carved into the offside. And nice pickup on the run. And the return is right alongside the stumps on the bounce from Budu, but he got rid of it quickly. And even though they came back for 2 runs, he did his part to end another over. 121 now for 2 after 11.
Well, a couple things to note as well. The over rate has been an issue, and it's partly because of not just the flurry of boundaries every over, but as well the changing in the field positions, especially with the left-hand, right-hand combination. And almost at every delivery, the wicketkeeper is adjusting the field, not just to get the fielders in the right positions, because they are not going in the positions that they're being originally set in, but also whenever any adjustments have to be made in the field, the fielding adjustments is made for a particular ball on a particular line and a particular length. But if the ball is not delivered in that area, it means that the field is out of whack, so to speak, because it's going to be put into the areas that the field is not set for.
So, and here's a classic example. The man at short extra cover or short mid-off is being encouraged to go to his left by Mohammed Bowler, and the long off is being pulled a little bit to his right, but that takes time. And now they've decided to move the man at mid-wicket and bring him on the offside as well.
Much to the bewilderment of the bowler.
Yep. So it's taken a while to get it right.
Is he in line with the long off now?
Well, that's the thing. The long off has to go to his right, come to his right a little bit. And that's a good pickup. And the return is over the head of the bowler. And they're going to get the second run there. So Guman Singh did the right thing. He picked up the ball quickly, but instead of throwing it to the wicketkeeper's end, he fancied the bowler's end, but he missed the bowler by some distance in terms of height. That's a good hit. There's a man out there, and he's going to wait and accept it. Tobias. So that's the thing, and this is the kind of the nearest that the Trinidad and Tobago team has had in terms of a bowler bowling a consistent enough line and length.
See the coach now making his way out to the boundary edge from the pavilion. Just sending some instructions to the fielders.
We have a downpour.
As the rain comes down even heavier now. Adding to the delays.
Mhm. And again, almost every time they play that shot, they more or less guarantee at least a single. And when they don't get one, they actually turn it into two.
Yeah, we was indicating yesterday as well that the glaring difference between the running between the wickets from the Trinidad team as compared to the Indian team. And there's no hand signals from the Indian batsmen. They know where the gaps are. They know what constitute a run.
That went right through the gate there. Captain Adams is out there, but they cruise another couple.
I understand why they're setting the fielders in the deep behind the fielders in the ring, Ruskin. Because the ball is going straight through the fielders in the ring.
Yeah, it's and again, all they have to do is, put the big barrier down,
Well, ironically,
and they put Noel in that position now.
I was about to say, the ball follows Thomas again. Well, it's almost like a comedy of errors. The guy with the one good hand was for the guy with two misfield twice. And the batsman Singh just places it in the direction of Thomas, who was moved. And it's gone past him for four all the way to the back wall.
It's almost like it has a little GPS signal says
Tracker.
Thomas.
Well, it's really coming down now, Ruskin.
Yeah.
Heavy downpour, and we will get a break in play here as the umpires call the ground staff onto the field. So at 131 for 2 in 11.5 overs, down comes the rain, and it's going to add to the delay in proceedings, and we will most definitely have to have some truncated overs now because it's a heavy downpour, and unfortunately, this may mean a longer break in play. And we'll take a pause here and we'll resume when the covers are being removed to continue on with play.
Welcome back to the Queen's Park Oval. Bright and sunny Queen's Park Oval. And when we were last with you, it was raining and the covers were being brought on. As you can see, the covers have been removed and the players are making their way back onto the field. Unfortunately, we would have had a reduction in overs because of the rain. We've had 2 breaks, and the latest one occurred at just about 5 minutes or so before 4 o'clock. It's now 4:30, so we've lost, another 35 minutes or so. And as a result, the umpires have decided to reduce the over, so it's now a 14 overs a side affair. Unfortunately for India, they have already faced 11 of those overs, and it's 121 for 2 in the 12th over. So they have just 1 ball left in the 12th over, and then they'll have 2 overs after that to make up their quota of overs. And we were talking about that earlier. To when you're batting first and you have the threat of rain, you try to keep your tempo high, and the Indians have done very well with that so far. This is certainly a decent total, especially with a reduced number of overs.
And certainly with the rain wrong, you want to bat last. And
They
if
have
you-
a better gauge.
Yep. When you win the toss, you definitely want to field first.
And immediately they get a wide, and they're going to get a couple of runs as a result of that. And the throw never, it never left his hand. Well, it left his hand. It just didn't go anywhere. And that is similar to trying to make a chip out of the sandpit. The ball just went up and went back down.
It seems he had a 60-degree waist sandwich in his hand. Well, it's going to have to be, the delivery is going to have to be bowled over, and he had a second opportunity to get the throw in as well. But just one ball to bowl in the over, we're going to have to do it over.
Yep.
Looking for 2 here. Look at the communication, Ruskin, between the running.
And they're under no pressure, really. They seem to know exactly what they want to do. That ends the over, and at the end of it, it is now 136 for the loss of 2 wickets.
Just looking at the communication between the wickets as compared, and we've been trying to make the comparison because the Trinidad and Tobago team have great difficulty running between the wickets, and the Indian batsmen out there for all of the games have been shown setting the example how to run between the wickets, and there is absolutely no hand gestures. They just look at each other. They're looking at the field as well, and they know when single is on, when the second run is on, and they can communicate without saying a word between the two. And the Trinidad and Tobago have to learn and take a page out of their books. Firstly, to assess how to judge a single, and then look at your partner to know that it's communication, looking at each other. And if your partner is not coming, then it's not a run, because it means that one of you is going to get run out. Looks like Borneo back into the attack.
Yep, Borneo, it is. Who's going to pick it up? And again, the whole idea now has to be to try to get as many runs as possible in these 2 remaining overs. So you might see a little more aggression and forcing of the pace a little bit more. And maybe some of the shots may not be as textbook as we are accustomed to seeing from the Indian batsmen. And that one is played nicely. That's going to go for 4. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Indians. As they come back out here, they have just 13 deliveries to work with, legal deliveries, that is, because they did get a wide first up. And here they're getting a nice juicy half volley wide outside the off stump, put away with some dispatch by Singh.
Going to see some fireworks on display here, these next few deliveries. And the 2 batsmen out there, quite capable. 2 rocket launchers out in the middle.
Here we go again. That too is going to run close to the boundary. In fact, it's going to get to the boundary. Not much that you could do about it. You could see Thomas trying to come around there and not getting anywhere near it.
Yeah,
Putting a dive.
Bonio not happy with the effort. And now he's telling him that he has to stand wider. And he's almost in a crouch position as if he's fielding in full slip. Out on the boundary and long on.
And that's the technical aspect of the game that you could see some of the Trinidad and Tobago players are short on at the moment. And that one is cracked away. That's a gift outside the off stump and a full toss. And put away with some dispatch here now.
And that brings up the 50-run partnership as well, off of 26. And Ruskin, if you told them when they went out to bat that they'd only be batting for 14 overs, they'd be much the same approach.
Mm-hmm.
And Bonio there just gesticulating to Mohammed as, why didn't you go for that? Mohammed does not make eye contact with the bowler.
I wouldn't either. 149 now for 2. And more runs here. This could go close to the boundary. Won't get to the boundary, but they will get a couple. And that will take them past the 150 mark. 151 for 2 now. And the runs keep ticking over. The runs keep coming.
I'm a bit disappointed, Ruskin, that we won't get the opportunity to see Mr. Noel, Myron Noel, get a bowl. I saw him bowling in the nets on some of the few highlight clips on Facebook, on the Facebook page of the Trinidad and Tobago Deaf Cricket Association, and he's a good-looking spinner.
And they needed somebody to somehow, stem the flow. They're going to go back for a second run, and no problems at all. The batsmen are comfortably back for 2 more to end that over. At the end of it, it's 153 for 2 now after 13.
And so 150 runs coming up in that over as well. And yeah, with just 14 overs to go, 4 of the bowlers bowling 3 overs in the second innings and 1 just 2 overs. But in this innings, we won't have the opportunity to see him try and get a couple wickets with his, I believe, his leg break that he bowls.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though, and even before the rains came, I thought he would have gotten a bowl at some point, just to see how how the wicket would respond to his deliveries. But, because it's clear that none of the bowlers have been able to really get anything out of the wicket. Murray it is who's going to bowl the final over.
I was looking after the power play after the 7th over even, if he was going to come on to bowl, but they opted for Alan Thomas, who, in fairness to him, came on and bowled his first over for just 5 runs, but the opportunity to get the spinner in, because he was specifically on the team for today's game to bowl.
Mm-hmm. And another good, powerful drive. They might think of a second. No, they decide against it. And now they're going to go for it. So a chance here. And if he struck it, he would have been out. And unfortunately there for Cadogan, he misses again. This is the second opportunity he had at a run out with the ball in his hands, and he couldn't effect that run out.
Well, the problem was, there were 2 bites at the cherry. The throw came into the non-strikers, and it could have struck the stumps. The bowler could not gather it, Murray. And the wicketkeeper, to be fair to him, was backing up well.
And Akash misses out on a chance of getting a half century there, because any kind of touch onto that probably could have deflected it past the keeper, past backward point into the cover gap. Big gaps out there for him. He just missed everything.
And for that run-out opportunity, the wicketkeeper should have taken his glove off.
This time he does get it into the gaps. He will get the second run, and that will bring up his 50. So very well done again for Sai Akash, showing that he is certainly growing in confidence here on the tour.
Yeah, 2 big sixes from him and 3 fours as well. And coming back to that wicket keeping and that opportunity for a run, it goes to what you were saying, Ruskin, that they don't have quite that experience in matches. And that little bit of extra bit of information, should have taken the glove off to get a better throw in at the stumps.
On both occasions, here he is again trying to impart more pace. They go for one, and they decide against it. Ponyo closes in.
So a good over. Final over of the innings, has to be said. Just 5 runs conceded. An idea, Ruskin.
2 legal deliveries. No.
Legal deliveries to come.
Yeah, it is. The sun is back, which is a good sign. And so I'm sure, and Cadogan again making adjustments in the field, and it's almost as if he insists that the fielders move around after every ball. And that's a good hit. Will it go into the hands? There's a man waiting there, but he cannot hold on to it. He drops it there. Tobias, he got it into his hands and took it a little bit low down. And when it hit his hand, it went down, as opposed to him trying to walk in a bit and take it at a much higher level. So even if it bounces out of his hands, it might go up in the air and you get a second bite at the cherry. On this occasion, he kind of was stooping down, and as it left his hand, it went straight to the ground.
Well, he was smiling and he was being cheered on by his fellow fielders. They would appreciate the fact that it did not go for a boundary and that he got in the way. Just 1 run in the end.
I don't know if Murray was all that happy. Murray would have loved to.
He was cheering. He was happy he didn't go for a boundary.
And there's another chance here. This one is in the air, but it's going to fall safely. It's going to fall in what we call no man's land. Another chance at a run out. And they were able to get 2 runs. So that should end the innings right there. It's 161 for 2 after 14 overs.
Yeah, 37 not out for the captain. Very interesting. Coming down the order today on the heels of 100 yesterday. And Sai Akash getting in the runs, 53 to him as well. And the other half-century maker yesterday, Krishna Gowda, he got to 36 rather today. And an excellent total yet again from the Indians, 161 for 2. They are just 11 runs short of where they were yesterday at 172 after 14 overs. So I don't know if that means a better bowling effort from the Trinidad and Tobago team than yesterday. And especially bearing in mind that it's now a truncated affair. But it has to say a good last 2 overs, Ruskin, from the pair coming back out after the rain delay.
Yeah, they didn't bowl too badly, and but the Indian batsmen, obviously they have a clear understanding of how they could score runs, and they know they could at least get a single off almost every delivery. And sometimes they turn in those ones into 2s because the fielders are either slow in getting to the ball or the returns are not accurate returns. We did have the run out opportunity, but again, that's because they were trying to squeeze a second run, and it should have been a run out, but it wasn't to be. They didn't hit the target, but I suppose the Trinidad and Tobago players would be happy. They have a target. The question is, can their batsmen concentrate for long enough to give them a chance to make an impression on this 162, or to get anywhere close to the 162 required for victory?
Well, the good news is that they won't have to worry about having to bat all 20 overs to do it, because it's only going to be a 14-over affair, and they were bowled out yesterday inside 12 overs. So at least with this opportunity, when they go back out there, they now know that they can really try to go hard at it and not worry too much about losing their wickets. because they do have wickets to spare because of the fact that it's only going to be 14 overs. And we set to resume at 4:50, and play should go on to 6 o'clock for us to get a result. There will be 4 power play overs, and 4 bowlers will have an allotment of 3 overs, and 1 bowler will have just 2 overs to bowl. So we will resume just in about 5 minutes time or so.
Thank you very much as we welcome you back here to the Queen's Park Oval, where we're getting ready for the Trinidad and Tobago reply as they chase 162 for a victory. And it's going to take some getting given the way that they've batted before, but you get the impression, Billy, that this might be the format that the players most enjoy. And hopefully they get a chance today to really show. It's only 14 overs, so they can go hard for a short period of time. And hopefully they can make some impression, even if they come up short. But I think what people would like to see is that they put some runs on the board and put some pressure on the Indian bowlers.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ruskin, we've seen them struggle when they've had more overs to face, and it might be just their cup of tea with the shorter form, and the two opening batsmen out there, Adams and Tobias, might be just relishing the opportunity. They're going to have 4 overs of power play with just 2 fielders outside of the ring, and those 2 fielders are a third man and fine leg. So if there's anything pitched up, Adams might just be wanting to go, if he decides to go in the air over the top, on the offside. And in fact, there are just 2 fielders on the onside, so there's a lot of room to maneuver the ball into the onside, and we've seen him.
So here's the first delivery, and it's not what the doctor ordered for the Indians. A wide delivery, and the Trinidad and Tobago pair of Tobias and Adams sneak a single. So they're off and running 2 without loss. And let me just give you an updated figure based on the Duckworth Lewis. It's 176 that they're facing in the same 14 overs.
I was making mention yesterday that was 172 that they had gotten up to when it was a 20 over affair, the Indians, at the end of 14 overs. So the Duckworth Lewis seems to be par for the course. 176 is the new total. And you see Adams again struggling with deliveries into his pads. He's not been able to work the ball in the gaps on the onside. And when he's gone out there to bat, it's either been 2 fielders on the onside or at times 3. And balls angle into his pads or even down the leg side. He's not been able to get back onto it.
So Nanda. And again, too much movement there. That ball pitch and kept going. Whereas the Trinidad and Tobago bowlers had difficulty getting any kind of movement. He's getting too much movement. Can't control it just yet.
Yeah, and Sibun Ananda, if I recall, did he bowl from the top end yesterday?
Yep.
The south end, yeah. So he's just been rotated to the other end. Might just take a couple deliveries to get accustomed, to get his line and length.
And you could see him thinking in terms of a wicket egg. His hand was already going up when he saw the ball coming into the pads of Tobias there. But to his credit, Tobias just got the bat down in time and kept it out.
Indian team, in keeping with their rotation policy, the man who got all the breakthroughs yesterday, Sanju Sharma, he's not in the 11.
And there's this familiar approach from Valdano Tobias where he doesn't really hit the ball. He tends to just get behind the ball. And even in doing so, sometimes it looks a little bit awkward because he's leading with his right foot sometimes because he tends to get very square when he's playing the ball. And this one is hit India. He could be out caught. Man is running back there, and he takes the catch. A very well judged catch by Mahapatra. And that is the end of Tobias without scoring.
Yesterday he was run out without facing a delivery for no score, and today he goes caught trying to go in the air and just spooning a catch to Mopatra. A couple of days ago was his birthday, and he's still in celebration mode as he takes a catch there. And already Trinidad and Tobago losing a wicket inside the first over of their innings. And although, as we mentioned, Sanju Sharma, who got 3 wickets in 1 over yesterday, swung the ball a lot, he is out of the lineup, as well as Vivek Kumar, who played in all of the games leading up to today. He is also out. So there's 2 new opening bowlers here on display, and already they are successful. Well, the first one is.
Yes, and end up putting a delivery on the leg stump, and you could see he was trying to train it on the onside, but he got a leading edge, and it just made height. A very good catch, running back there from mid-on. Santosh Mahapatra taking a very, very well judged catch to give India an early scalp, and Nicholas Mohammed has come out.
He is the leading run scorer for the Trinidad and Tobago team, Nicholas Mohammed.
And he gets a very good delivery first up and did well just to keep it out. Didn't try to do too much with it, but at least he decided to at least take a look at it first before having a go.
Leading run scorer. It's not really saying much for the Trinidad and Tobago team. He got 11 in a total of 38 yesterday, and 22 in a total of 50 on Sunday.
So as he goes, so goes Trinidad and Tobago. And that's a brilliant delivery. Bowled him, hit the outside edge and just hit the off stump and knocked it back. So really, he picked up the original line. He covered the original line. But when the ball moved, the bat never did. And the ball just went past the outside edge, but it struck the stump on the way through. You look at it, he seemed to have everything covered except the ball. And he does paint a picture. Now, if you don't see the hardware being disturbed at the back, you would say that was a good defensive push. He had a good position, but he had a good position for the original line of the ball. And once the ball moved that position, he had to make another adjustment, and he couldn't. He too goes for no score.
He couldn't get the left pad across to the line of the ball, the moving delivery. And he went onto the back foot, and his front leg was off to the leg side, which meant with that open stance, any movement away from the bat was going to go either onto the edge and either way beating him, and this time knocking the off stump back top of off, as they say, and an excellent delivery. Just 3 extras in the innings and 2 wickets in the first over. And unfortunately for Trinidad and Tobago, it seems like much of the same, as Orion Murray is promoted in the batting order ahead of Jamel Borneo. Or can you think it's just a question of who got padded up first?
Well, really and truly is who is probably the most eager to get out there to see if they could save the day here for Trinidad and Tobago, because it's not looking very good for them at the moment.
There were 6 ducks yesterday, and Mr. Murray included.
As such as the dominance of the Indian bowlers, they really put pressure on the Trinidad and Tobago batsmen, and the local batsmen have been found wanting. And, again, good carry once again. So finally, the first over comes to an end, and Trinidad and Tobago not happy. 3 for 2 at the end of it.
Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago have a lot to do, not just in this game, but develop their cricket on the whole. And all departments have to get some work. Mr. Enel Ryan is going to have his work cut out for him with this team, working alongside Mr. Davindra Maraj and Anthony Dawson. But the Captain Adams is still there, and he has not had too good a go of it. He had a long stay at the crease on Sunday, opening the innings, what was originally a 50-over affair, truncated to 30 due to the rain. But the first part of that innings, he batted for quite some time. I believe he batted well into over number 10.
But couldn't get the ball away.
Yeah, he just managed 6 runs and a lot of deliveries into his pads that he couldn't just break the wrist and work it into the onside.
It's such a steep learning curve when you're playing at this level. You're getting no quarters. And that's a wide. Thank you very much. Santosh Mahapatra is the bowler from the bottom end or the southern end. And you look at how he's walking. He too looks like he's as stiff as anything. Because the body is probably not accustomed to this much cricket in quick succession. So you kind of work your way through. And that's even wider. So another one. And then that's the other thing, we if you don't play this amount of cricket and your body isn't used to it, it reminds you in different ways. You're not always injured, but you're so sore that you can't execute the way that you're accustomed to. And that's another good delivery. And a tumbling save there by the keeper, Ashraf. But he was certainly having some difficulty moving on that occasion. Did well in the end, though, to not concede a bye.
And we've seen a reluctance from all the batsmen to get forward, to get fully forward, and they're just playing from the crease. Not much feet movement at all.
And this time pushed out on the offside by Adams, but again, can't get it through.
It's a better looking shot on this occasion. Getting that front pad out, opening and full bat face to that delivery. And if he can just get some confidence, get some timing onto the ball, might be able to get in the runs today.
Edged and down to third man it goes. There is a man scampering down there. They'll just have to settle for the 1 run. So finally, Adams is off the mark.
Yeah, and runs off the bat for Trinidad and Tobago. All the other 5 runs have come in extras with wide deliveries.
We've taken those.
Most definitely. They all count.
Yep.
So for the first time on the tour, we're seeing the all-rounder, Santosh Mohapatra, the birthday boy, getting an opportunity to open the bowling.
Played away nicely on the onside, but not with any real power. And another brilliant afternoon here at the Queen's Park Oval. It really looks a picture. The shadows are beginning to lengthen across the ground as well.
And the bright red of Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago's uniform on display.
And this is kind of what has transpired with the Trinidad and Tobago batsmen. They just can't get on top of the Indian bowling. I suppose it's really a battle of survival for most of them.
Most definitely, yeah.
Because they can't get the ball away. They can't get it off the square. And that must be the most frustrating thing. Even when they make contact with it, it's not going anywhere. And speaking of trying to get it off of the square, played on a miss, but the wicketkeeper not able to prevent it from going for a wide. It's a wide signal by the umpire.
So they're getting it done in extras. And you're right, it seems as though the mindset is more of a survival mode. And with the low totals posted in the other 2 games,
played away nicely, but unfortunately found the fielder who knocks it down quickly. Can't get it through. It's the end of the over. At the end of it, it's 8 for 2.
Yeah, and one of the people who might just be able to break the shackles is the captain, Adams. And it seems as though he's predominantly an offside player. He looks to score the deliveries pitched on the off stump and outside of the off stump, even though we've seen quite a few beat the outside edge. And he's probably not accustomed to the standard of bowling from the Indians here. They are, although it's been 7 extras, They've been very accurate in the games leading up to this one. And their control has been quite exquisite. They managed to move the ball off the pitch as well as in the air, the faster bowlers.
Played away nicely. That's in the gap, and that could get them a couple runs. And they'll be happy with that. So good open face there from Murray. Squeezed it out, square the wicket on the offside.
Yeah, and they might just be thinking now with just 14 overs and 4 overs of power play, they just have about 11 deliveries left in the power play. So they want to try and maximize these last few deliveries and get a move on.
Again, we'll take those two. They're coming off a thick outside edge.
So now they've changed the mindset to try and look to be aggressive, both batsmen. And with that positive mindset, you see them getting forward now, trying to be aggressive, and the runs starting to flow.
So both the left-hand, right-hand combination in effect here for Trinidad and Tobago. Can it put off the Indian bowlers?
See the captain just changing his guard there, switching to a leg stump guard. We've been seeing he's struggling on the onside.
That's a glorious shot. That's Clive Lloyd-like. And a brilliant shot indeed for 4 runs.
Yeah, no, this is the difference when you try to be positive instead of trying to survive. And I said he switched his guard to leg side and he was struggling to play deliveries on his pads. So by changing his guard to a leg stump guard, he's opened up more of the offside. And now we're seeing what he's capable of. Got that stride in, nice high elbow. And Mr. Clive Lloyd would be very proud of that. We're coming up for 50 years of that test victory in 1975 under the stewardship of Mr. Clive Lloyd.
I remember that, the World Cup 100, when all seemed lost. And the big cat, the super cat, came to the team's rescue. Again, that's more runs there. In fact, might get 2 if they hurry. And they will get a second run. And I'm not sure if he actually grounded the bat.
Oh, no.
And just as I was talking about grounding the bat, Murray kind of stumbled into the crease at the non-striker's end. He wasn't sure where the ball was, and he probably didn't even have to dive to get in. But he could not have known that. I think the bat just got stuck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was running, just angling outside of the pitch and probably got caught in that rough area on the square.
Short ball, and that too is played nicely.
This is excellent batting here from Adams, the captain, taking the mantle of responsibility at the top of the order. And he's motoring on quite nicely now. He's on to 9, is it?
He's certainly
on to 8.
He's on to 8 now, so he's certainly sort of giving the bowlers something to think about here.
Yeah, and in stark contrast, Murray has an off-stump guard. So he's anticipating the ball swinging away from him. Hence, he got a couple outside edges. And he's in attacking mode.
And that one goes right through the wicketkeeper. And more for the fans to cheer about, as the Trinidad and Tobago scoreboard is ticking over quite nicely here.
Yeah, and Murray just off an inside edge down to the boundary for 4. And his promotion so far is serving to be a positive note for the Trinidad and Tobago team.
Yeah, this is what they need. They need something to lift them, to give them a little bit of a boost. 22 for 2 after 3.
So a partnership being built here. Now we get the opportunity to see the Indian bowlers under some pressure now from some positive batting from the Trinidad and Tobago team. And if they can manage to get a few more runs and a couple more boundaries, then it would mean that the Indian team would have to conjure up a way to stem the flow of runs. And we see some communication as well to the bowler from beyond the boundary.
Yeah, because I suppose as in most teams, as you see the opponents shaping or doing something a little bit differently to what was happening before, the one thing the Indians don't want is to panic, and then everybody starts trying to do it alone or trying to make decisions for everybody else. Just stay with what has worked for them so far, and I'm sure they're going to be okay. Even though Adams is threatening to play a big one here for Trinidad and Tobago. And here he is again, driving, just planting that right foot and bringing the bat through. It really does look like Clive Lloyd when he
He
drives
does.
the ball.
Hunched over
Mhm.
the bat in his stance, and when he gets forward to drive the ball, Clive Lloyd has that bit of an angle top hand wrist position, mimicked here by the Captain Adams.
Having a big go at that one. That one, he was really going for broke there. Unfortunately, missed everything.
Yeah, where the foot ended up after the fact is where it should have been. His eyes lit up when he saw that ball pitched up, but just angling across him, beating the outside edge.
You got another chance. And this time again, it's hitting the edge. That two can run for 4 runs. 4 in the dark, as they say, but he's going to take that.
And fortune favors the brave. And struggling yet again, as you can see on the onside. He tried to close the bat face. Did it too soon. And almost the bowler was ready to go up shouting for an LBW appeal. But as he shut the bat face, it exposed the outer face of the bat and got it past the keeper and slipped for 4.
Yeah, that's a productive shot. Not the best of shots.
Does it count as a reverse sweep, Prescott?
It doesn't quite count as a reverse sweep. But, like I keep saying, the bats that they're making now, that you have to pay all this money for, they are big and thick. And so an edge, it is almost like a full-blooded drive with a bat from, 20 years ago. That's another good shot. Wouldn't get a run this time, but you could see him really leaning into the shot, trying to open the face, get it down behind point.
And it has to be said, the batsman in the back of the mind knowing that it's just 14 overs, Ruskin, even low amount of overs that they would have to survive for in inverted commas, and they actually go in the opposite direction.
Fool everybody.
Now that is a delivery down the leg side. And a batsman who's stronger on his pads might have been looking to capitalize on that type of a delivery with just 3 fielders on the onside, and had he gone after it, could have gotten a boundary as well. He's not confident with playing shots on his pads.
It's surprising. Most left-handers love it there. That's where he's most comfortable, though, when he could just drive and hit it through the covers. He's going to get 2. They might think of a third, and the ball is flicked back. However, it's tidied up quite nicely in the end. So 2 more to end the over. Adams goes to 14. Murray is 7. It's 29 for 2 now after 4.
So that's the end of the power play. And a good power play, has to be said, for the Trinidad and Tobago team. Just over 7 runs and over. And they'd be quite happy with that. And quite frankly, the captain, Devon Adams, on 14. His strike rate is now over 100, as well as that of Orion Murray on 7. So they're motoring on quite nicely with a bit of fortune. But as we said, fortune favors the brave. And the Indians are now a little bit on the back foot, because they would not like to be challenged in terms of their bowling. Their bowlers were so confident over the last few days to come now and face a counter punch from the Trinidad and Tobago batsmen.
Yeah, they have to really do something here to create an impression, give the fans something to cheer about. And so far, so good. Drive in again, but not really able to hit it off the middle of the bat. seemed to hit the bat at a bad angle. It just went down as opposed to going where he intended it to go with power.
He needs a bigger bat.
That's played in the air, but into the gap as well. That's gone. 4 runs.
But this time making much better contact, just opening the face slightly. He was in the air, but quite low to the ground and away from the fielder and getting it to the boundary. And Trinidad and Tobago motoring on. It's a 30-run partnership off of 21 deliveries from the pair. An excellent going from these batsmen.
Actually, I thought it went up, but he hit it hard into the ground and it spooned up after hitting the ground hard. So it was a good shot all around. Yep. He hit it hard into the ground. And that was one that might have just pickled the cloth in there. That's hence the reason why it wasn't called a wide. But he also failed to make the kind of contact because that was a gift given the open spaces behind the batsman there.
Yeah, and Adams is walking down to him. Do you think he's giving him advice how to play on the leg side?
Well, all he has to do is make contact, any kind of contact, decent contact. No, don't edge down to fine leg. But Adams is so strong with those cover drives. And this could have been a single, but that, again, for regular quote-unquote cricketers, that's a dangerous area to judge singles. We've seen time and again, even the regional players have real difficulty judging singles square the wicket on the onside as well as on the offside, especially the non-strikers. They seem very, very incapable of judging a proper single when the ball is going square the wicket. This one is hit in the air. That's safe. And this is going to be a chase here. Running back and able to haul it in. And they're going to be happy with just the 2 runs. Abhishek Singh, the man giving chase. 2 more to the total.
Adams already involved in a few runouts in this series so far, turning down that single and just as well because Murray seems to be going guns in this over. Through the offside for 4 and now over the top of mid-on.
And it's a slow delivery, but boy, he was really committed to that drive. And the change of pace is what kind of robbed him of the momentum because he was probably going to unleash another big one there. However, the over comes a good delivery by Nanda, 2 for 23 from his 3 overs. Murray is 13. Adams is 14. It's 35 for 2.
And a good partnership building here. Just 32 runs thus far off of 23 deliveries or so. And Trinidad and Tobago, they'll be quite happy. The support staff with this partnership here. And it's the best one that we've seen so far for the series. And inspired by a knock from the captain here. He's on 14, but he's looked very much more and more growing in confidence as his innings progress. And he's adjusting his guard as well. Seems to be retaking on this end a leg stump guard as well. He made the adjustment from the southern end, changing his guard to leg stump and remarking his guard here now. Looks like Mohapatra to continue.
Just a little bit cramped here. You can see him changing the shot, wanting to play a big expansive drive, clear the wicket, but with a straight bat as opposed to the horizontal bat that he was trying to sort of back drive it. Here he goes again. That's a good shot, but for no run. And he must be kicking himself there now because either side of the captain Singh probably would have netted him 4 runs.
Yeah, and he does have on the offside a deep third man, a very fine backward point, a point cover, extra cover, and mid off.
And he's going with him again, and he can't get it through again.
But by virtue of the fact that the fielders there in that ring, particularly backward point and cover, they are not on the 30-yard circle. And by them being just about 7 yards or so inside the ring, they're just narrowing the angle. It's that they've been back on the ring might have just created a little bit of a more of an angle for the ball to get past them.
Good shorter delivery. Just mixing it up here now. He knows that the penchant is for him to drive through the offside. He just shortened that one a little bit, and all the batsman could do is just defend it.
He was still on the front foot and defending off of the front foot, although the delivery was short. So good change up there from Mohapatra.
And again, pitching up further this time, but bang on target.
Yeah, I think he's realized that any opportunity that Adams have on the off stump, on outside of the off stump, even middle and off, he's driving into the covers. But if he tucks him up a little bit on middle and leg, he is less aggressive, not as confident.
And he tends to defend more than anything else. And this time he's bowled him. Well. What a delivery again, just going across the seam and hitting that off stump on the way through. So another fine delivery that accounts for another wicket. It's 35 now with 3 wickets going. Now look at this beauty here.
He just dragged the length back a little bit, but it seemed to hurry onto the bat, just pitching on about middle or leg stump, and he was in a defensive position again, Adam, but the ball seaming away, clipping the top of off stump, and an exceptional delivery there from Santosh, getting the ball to move around, starting it on middle and leg, making the adjustment from deliveries outside of the off stump, and just adjusting his line as well as his length, and able to pry out the wicket of Devon Adams, the captain, who was looking really good. He was looking better and better, growing in confidence at the crease. But Trinidad and Tobago now have lost their 3rd wicket. And is it Nicholas Mohammed coming out? Nicholas Mohammed is out. Is it the captain?
The
wicketkeeper, vice captain?
Cadogan, yeah. He's the... And he has shaped well, but he hasn't had any runs really to write home about. So they're going to need him to produce something. Today is the day. He's already seen his captain put up his hand before he was bowled with a beauty. And now Shamil Cadogan.
So we truncated affair, just 14 overs. So the drinks break is being taken at the end of that 6th over. The total on 35 for 3. A truncated drinks break as well.
Yeah, because everything is speeding up here now, because we did have those 2 rain interruptions, and we've had a reduction in overs. And so I think it's only fair that they try to speed up proceedings. And here's the man, Akash. Sai Akash.
So we've not seen him bowl in the series thus far. So with Sharma being left out, as well as Vivek Kumar, the 2 opening bowlers for the Indian team, we have a little bit of a change up in the bowling order, as well as personnel now, with Akash coming into the attack.
Yeah, he obviously is probably going to relish this opportunity, open the batting rather, and now he gets a chance to round his arm, as we say.
But no Jamel Bonyu, who came in at number 4 in the previous 2 games. Just wondering if he might be carrying a bit of stiffness or injury.
Not the ideal, not the perfect start. And but the thing about it is, look at how it hurried the batsman. He couldn't even get.
Yeah.
It came at him so quickly.
Very deceptive pace.
Yep. And there's another one going right through the bat. He's out, LBW. Again, not able to pick up the line properly there. And Murray goes for 13. LBW to the man Akash.
And the ball seems to be hurrying on. It's a very slow run up, just ambling up to the crease. And it's all in the shoulders from Sai Akash, just ambling up to the crease there. Not much of a run up at all. And then all in the shoulders in the final part of the delivery, striking him dead in front. Pulling across the line there was Murray and hurrying on to him. And now 4 wickets down now, and Trinidad back into some difficulties now.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, a big chunk of their hopes went with the wicket of Adams, who was bowled by a beauty from Mahapatra. And it's going to be interesting now how the rest of the batting, the middle and the lower order, how they shape up against this very potent and varied Indian attack. Because we're seeing the seam bowlers come to the party here and showing what they're capable of. And this is what we were talking about earlier. The Trinidad and Tobago bowlers have to learn how to do something with the ball. And we're seeing here how adept the Indian bowlers are at doing just that. If they're not seaming it, they're changing the pace very well. And the Trinidad and Tobago batsmen are being caught off guard. That's just the naivety of the batting as well. They know how to, as they're coached to step out and make a defensive prod or whatever it is. But that's if the bowler bowls a particular type of delivery. When that changes, what do you do now? And they don't have that nuance just yet.
And interesting as well, they're opting to use out their pace bowlers at the front of the innings, because we are going to go to 6 o'clock, barring Trinidad and Tobago being bowled out. But it does mean that we're going to get darker as play goes on. So they're saving their spinners for that time.
And that is going to run close to the boundary, if not into the boundary, and it goes for 4. Did he get a touch? He might have got a little nibble, or did it? No, the umpire says leg by, but it looked like it might have just hit the edge of the bat on the way through. But the umpire...
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there, Ruskin. I thought it came off the edge of the bat. And the manner in which it sped to the boundary as well might be an indication of that.
Actually, no, it hit the pad.
Base of the pad.
Hit the pad. In fact, he got the leg in the way and then had to try to play around the pad with the bat.
He kicked it for 4.
Yep. Then he's got bowled. All he had to do was try to play down the line. He tried to, I'm not quite sure what shot he was trying to play there, but he was not in line. And he too goes bowled neck and crop for no score.
Yeah, that went straight through him. He's batting on an off stump, but he's clearing the front leg and he's making space for the ball to pass through between bat and pad. The young 15 is Budu.
Budu.
Yeah, Budu, the young 15-year-old, being sent in ahead yet again of Jamel Borneo. Borneo will now make his way out to the middle. And maybe they were thinking just to push him for the last few overs of the innings if they needed to get quick acceleration. But now he's going to have to come in with more than half of the overs left in the innings, with the total just on 40, chasing 176.
Yeah, that's 2 wickets already in the over for Akash.
Yeah, and all the runs he's conceded has been extras. Because out of that total of 40, not quite sure how many extras, but it clearly would be a lot.
Yeah, so he had a wide, then he had the wicket. He had the 4 leg bys, then he had the wicket. And so if you to continue with that trend, this should be a dot ball or wide.
Or wide. There's the one.
This one is hitting him on the pad, and he's a loud appeal. The umpire says a dead ball, and because he really wasn't playing a shot.
Well, Budu kicked one away for 4. Yep. It was given leg bys. Let's have another look at this one. Did the bat come down? It has to be the question. Not in the mind of the umpire.
Yeah, he's batting. He's almost close to that off stump.
Yeah, that's playing a shot.
Yep. He was trying to turn it on the onside, but the umpire wasn't convinced. So I suppose he was going by the baseball ruling. Did he come around? And I guess not. And again, he goes right through him. That one just missed the stump. It actually jumped over the stump. And that could so easily have been another wicket.
Well, it would have been another extra had not had the umpire not signaled dead ball and had that one hit the wicket. It was on its way to crashing into middle, jumping over the stump. We would have seen a clear pattern in the over.
Yeah, this has been an eventful over at that. And the umpire just making sure that Cadogan knows what is happening here.
Sai Akash, 53 not out. At bat, opening the innings.
And bowling a splendid first over as he has picked up 2 wickets for 2 runs in that over. 41 for 5 at the end of 7.
And the light feeding here at the Queen's Park Oval with shadows coming across the ground. 5:34 in the afternoon. And just 14 overs in the innings. So we're halfway there.
Yeah, yep.
And we're not anywhere near half the runs required. 176, the Duckwood Lewis target. Reminding you that the Indian team, with a couple of rain delays, only managed to face 14 overs in the innings, got to a total of 161 for the loss of 2 wickets. And a recalculation from Duckwood Lewis, and the total, 176 needed, the target. And the top scorer for the innings, Devon Adams, 14 runs to him, followed by Orion Murray, 13.
And that's hit back and he's out caught. Brilliant catch indeed. The first ball from Kuldeep Singh. And did he take the catch? Well, they're debating. He's out caught. It was a good catch. It was low down. And it came off the bat at a very awkward kind of an angle. He didn't really hit it as well as he wanted to. And but that is the end there of Borneo. Jamal Borneo, look at this here. It hit low down on the bat and it went right back. The bowler took a good catch, both hands, and then he rolled. Look at the roll there. He just embellished it.
That rule. Alligator that rule. From old Dave Mohammed. There's a couple extra rules in that. Enjoying taking a wicket off of his first Kuldeep Singh. And he's in the wickets yet again. And this time on the first delivery, and the Trinidad and Tobago innings just capitulating now. With 7 overs gone and just 41 runs on the board. And the Trinidad and Tobago team just losing their way after what seemed to be a promising stand between Murray and Adams. They had just crossed 30 runs in the partnership and was looking very good until Adams was outbowled by a piece of a delivery from Mohapatra, getting the breakthrough, and the 2 opening bowlers bowling their full allotment of 3 overs. And Sai Akash coming in, taking 2 wickets, the opening batsman, in his first over. And immediately now Kuldeep Singh picking up a wicket off of his first delivery as the very stiff-looking Goman Singh makes his way out to the middle. So just a 1 over from him.
Yeah, he's asking for 2 legs. And so the umpire says, fine, we'll take that. Now, we haven't really looked at much at the field placings, but they have this unusual field setting. They have a short straight mid-wicket and a short square mid-wicket and a traditional mid-wicket. And this one is another wide. So the trend continues, a wicket, a wide. But let's see if it will be another wicket here now.
And we saw a lot of that in yesterday's game where as the wickets fell and they got into the lower middle order and tail of the Trinidad and Tobago innings, there were more and more fielders getting closer to the bat. And of course, not allowed within 15 yards of the batsman without a helmet. And I'm not quite sure in the youth cricket, you can't field closer than 15 yards. So perhaps the same rule applies here for the deaf cricket teams.
But are they 15 yards? The 2 men closing on the onside. And so one trying to swing across the line there. Not out, says the umpire. Probably just struck slightly outside the off them.
Well, the umpires tend to take the gauge about the middle of the pitch. So anything within that circumference, nothing closer.
Played nicely, good diving stop, and they can't get a run.
You can see all the shadows encroaching on the pitch as well. That looked very close, Ruskin.
It was very close. Yep. And that's played away. That's a good shot. They're gone for one, and they might get a second. For whatever, Guman Singh is not interested in a second run, but two was certainly on the cards there. But this time he decided one is enough, and he would settle for that one run. So now he's on strike. And he's swinging it away. Does it get to the boundary? Yes, it will. So that's 4 runs. And that's the reason why he was happy with just the one. Because he always felt he could do stuff like that. Well, he got right in the crease there. And he too is a prime candidate for an LBW because he's just swinging from in the crease. And he's bowled him. Well, if he doesn't get LBW, he's going to get bowled. And it was right on target. And he goes for 4. And the Trinidad and Tobago, it's really a procession now. So Singh picks up another one. And it's 48 for 7. Trinidad and Tobago in dire straits. And so this is really all that is nothing new, I should say, or nothing different, because it's been this way throughout the series where the Indian bowlers have really held sway over the Trinidad and Tobago batting. And we're seeing more of that here today, where the batsmen have dominated the TNT bowlers, and their bowlers have followed suit by dominating the Trinidad and Tobago batting. And mind you, this Trinidad and Tobago performance with the bat here is much improved from some of the earlier matches. And even there, they haven't been able to get to 50 yet, but they've lost, 7 wickets already. And we haven't even hit over number 10 just yet, only 8 overs completed. And here's another appeal for an LBW. Not out, says the umpire. Oh, yes, he's given him out. Well, it's a little bit delayed, but he has given Cadogan out. And the umpire looked at it for a long while and then decided that it is hitting the wicket, or it was hitting him in front. And height might have been a problem, but he was swinging and he was low down. So the umpire probably weighing the options there, taking into consideration the height factor, the distance the ball had to travel. And at the end of it, he has to go for, was it 2? And another wicket goes down. So it's 48 for 8 here now. Trinidad and Tobago really just sliding out down here to a heavy defeat. And it's that man, Nyron Noel, who didn't get to bowl. And that's primarily why he was included in the team. In fact, I felt that he should have been given a chance to bowl much earlier than before the adjustments came and the reduction in the overs. And by that time, it made it impossible for them to go to him to bowl. And but bowling is really what he's selected for. And if you notice with the bat, because of the damage to the left hand, he doesn't grip the bat. So he just bats with the one hand. And again, and now I've seen this before. I saw this with the youth cricket. I try to remember what is his name now, but this was Taylor, young Taylor, Jaswick Taylor's son, one of his sons. And this is a foregone conclusion. Right through the gate it goes, and he's bowled neck and crop. So Akash picks another pepper, and it's now 48 for 9. Trinidad and Tobago need another 76 runs. But they're certainly actually it's a lot more than the 76 runs that's required here at the moment, because the Duckworth Lewis score was 176, and they only reached 48. So the last man is making his way out to the middle. So Trinidad and Tobago here in danger of being blown away without even batting out their 14 overs. In fact, they might even bat out over number 9. Because as it is right now, they still have 2 deliveries left in this over. And it looks like this is going to be Alan Thomas. And a play and a miss. So, and you just look at how he shapes with the bat in hand. You don't want to believe that batting is a strength of his. And that one went right through the gate, and a good delivery. Look at how that ball pitched and took off after pitching. So certainly a big one there as well. So 48 for 9 now after 9 overs. So this is not what the doctor ordered for Trinidad and Tobago. They still need another 128 runs or thereabouts. The stump's there, but maybe the turn is what saved them on that occasion. As you could see, Kuldeep Singh striving for another wicket here, and this one is slapped down to mid-off. They're going to get one, and something for the spectators to cheer about. Every run scored by Trinidad and Tobago is met with loud applause. So Lord picked up a single. Alan Thomas is on strike here. The Indians trying to see if they could get it. There's a little downpour. And he wants a single. It's not there. This could be dangerous. And had he hit the stumps, he might have been out. But with the rain beaten down here, the Indians are trying desperately to get this over with. And it won't happen there. It's a wide, and that's going to run. It's rolling into the boundary. So that brings up the Trinidad and Tobago 50. So that's 4 wides. And just like that, the rain has stopped, almost as if by the Indian players putting their hands up and telling them, wait, no rain. The rain has actually subsided. There's another delivery right on target, but kept out. So Thomas is doing his bit here. 54 for 9, Trinidad and Tobago. And it will remain 54 for 9 as the over number 10. 2 left in this over. Kuldeep Singh looking for another wicket. He won't get it there. In fact, he is not able to find the stumps. He's just a little bit too wide. So that is the end of the over. 54 for 9 after 10. And I'm not sure what the umpires, is this the light that the umpires are worried about here? And it's still 12 minutes or so before 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock would have been the cutoff time. And so I think we're right on the border here. But the umpires, if they can speed up the proceedings here, but do we get 4 overs in 12 minutes? It's left to be seen. Or do we need it? We don't, because Lord was bowled all over the shop there for 1. And that is the end of the innings. So coming in and bowling, Akash picks up another wicket. 5 wickets. 2.1 overs. So what a spell of bowling there. 2 runs, 5 wickets. And 2 runs, just the 2 runs, 2.1 overs, 2 runs, 5 wickets. And he had a maiden inside of there as well. So what a fine display from Sai Akash there as the Trinidad and Tobago team bowled out for 154, is it? So 154 all out, or 54 all out, I should say. Boy, I'm not dreaming there. They could have gotten to 154. And it's just the 10.1 overs used up. So a big victory by 122 runs under the Duckworth-Lewis system. And so that is the end of that. India taking the 3-match series. They won the lone one-day international. They won that handsomely. They won big yesterday, and here again today, they won by 122 runs under the DLS method. So 2-0, a series lead for them, an unassailable 2-0 series lead with just 1 to go. And we'll have that game for you tomorrow right here at the Queen's Park Oval. So again, not much to write home about. Adams made 14, 13 to Murray. And then after that, it's, as we see, it's like a telephone number, a series of zeros inside of there. And that's because of the brilliant bowling from Sai Akash in particular. 2.1 overs, 1 maiden, 2 runs, and 5 wickets inside of there. So congratulations to India. And on behalf of Billy Kenny, I'm Ruskin Mark, thanking you so much for being with us. And do join us again tomorrow from just about 2 o'clock, weather permitting, for the 3rd and final game of the series. And of course, for the deaf cricketers, their tour of Trinidad and Tobago. We hope you could join us then on 360 TV.